Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Find Out What's in Pelenta's Forrest. Grab yourself a glass of water or a cup of tea and spend the next few minutes with me. And like I always tell you, don't believe everything you hear. Check your facts and do your own research. And as soon as the butterflies bring us on in, we're going to start talking about this stuff. Don't you want to know what my butterflies are saying? Don't you want to know what my butterflies are talking? This is Find Out What's in Pelenta's Forrest. Okay, I crack myself up. Yes, I do. Anyway, you know, I like that boom boom, the boom 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 boom. Today I got news to share with you, and if you didn't know it, now you do. All right, have some cool stuff to tell you about. First of all, don't be calling me Becky with the good hair. Beyonce, she is being sued over lemonade, in case you have not already heard. Independent filmmaker Matthew Folks filed a federal lawsuit against Beyonce Knowles, alleging that ideas from his 2014 short film were used to create the trailer that accompanied her new visual masterpiece, Lemonade. He alleges that his short film, Paranoia, whatever. I don't know. I apologize, mister. I can't understand what this is trying to spell here. But anyway, his short film, Beyonce stole it. Stole his idea and everything. You know what? It's so funny. Of course, I don't know what's going to happen to this, but have you noticed that a lot of people have accused her of taking and stealing stuff? You remember when she came out with the Single Ladies? And I think maybe a couple of months after that, there was some aerobics class or something overseas somewhere that happened to see her Single Ladies video. And when you watched this woman doing her, routine in this dance class, it was identical to what Beyonce did in Single Ladies. And this lady had done this routine like 3 years ago, So I do have a little respect for Taylor Swift when she got up there and made that speech about people trying to take credit for your work and all that, which she's got herself in some hot water right now with Kim and Kanye, and they Snapchatted her butt. She didn't know she was on Snapchat, and now it's just a big old mess. It's all over it's just crazy. Anyway, she shouldn't have lied. But seriously, that's another thing too. I mean, look, I personally believe in giving credit where credit is due. If you made that bread, if you cooked that chicken, you should get credit for it. If you made that delicious baked potato with the extra butter and sour cream, then you ought to get credit for it. Nobody else. What is the problem? Well, I tell you, Planet Earth, Planet Idiocracy. Go watch that movie, because you'll shake your head, you'll laugh, and it might make you go, really? Yeah, really. Moving on, Harry Potter. The Harry Potter play had to remove live owls. Now, this is really interesting, and it's also super cool, because first of all, I mean, I've never been that super into Harry Potter. But I think it's really unique that they actually have live owls at their plays. I mean, I guess they have to be some kind of trained. Of course, this is in London. But anyway, it says, farewell, feathered cast members of Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. Producers say they have removed live owls from the play after one escaped into the auditorium during a preview. Now, the barn owl failed to return to its handler during a show. So the two-part play is already officially opened. Actually, it actually opened yesterday. So no more live owls. But man, I guess that sucker, when he escaped from his handler, he was probably saying, freedom, freedom, give what you say. He was like, I'm getting out of here. You ain't gonna see me no more. And let's see what else here. Okay, now I thought this article here was very interesting. And I'm being serious, but listen to this. It says that a survey says that teen sex has declined, right? The trouble with kids these days are not as common as they used to be. United States teens are having a lot less sex, and they're drinking and using drugs less often. And they also aren't smoking as much, according to a government survey of risky use behavior. So now they're saying that I think that you can call this the cautious generation. Well, the survey found that 41% of these young people that had said that they had had sex, compared with 47% over the previous decade. So the results come from a study conducted every 2 years by the Center of Disease Control and Prevention. Now, it is so funny because when they put up articles like this, they always put something kind of contradictory right next to it. Because listen to this next juicy article. It says here, city workers accused of drug use and sex on the job. So see what just happened here? These teenagers just turned into adults, and they now work for the city. So it says, 2 utilities department employees sometimes wasted 3 hours a day. 3 hours a day, okay? And both employees, we're talking about 2 employees here. So both employees have resigned since confronted with these allegations, and other departments, their employees received porn in their email. I mean, is your job that awful? I mean, does your job suck that much? But and it says here that 2 employees were actually caught having sex on the job. They were also witnessed having sex in the back seat of a city vehicle, at a city park, in city buildings, even in a city bathroom. So, and then it says too, at least one of the employees would drink alcohol and use drugs while at work. So I don't know. I think it just sounds kind of crazy because you have all this evidence of them getting busy and doing stuff in all these crazy places over the last 3 years. 3 years later, they're just now resigning or getting fired. I mean, you see, this is the thing. Nobody wants to be a snitch because they're afraid of losing their job. It's the same thing with the police force. Nobody wants to be a snitch. They don't want to snitch on their fellow officer, fellow employee, fellow friend, because it's going to cause friction. Then you're labeled a snitch. You're a troublemaker. You might lose your job. Then you're hung out to dry. and all this crazy kind of corruption. See, this is how corruption starts, because somebody has something on somebody, and that person has something on somebody else, and before you know what, the enemy of my enemy is my friend, and nothing gets solved. It's disgusting. So there you go. All right, let's see. What else do I have to tell you about? Money, money, money. Money. Microsoft to purchase LinkedIn. I'm not going to cross my eyes because I'm tired. But Microsoft is going to purchase LinkedIn, I lied, for $26.2 billion. Where did they get all this money? I told you last time. They have a little snow cone machine. It's a snow cone money machine. And you crank that little sucker and money. Better have my money. What? Better have my money. They just crank it out. $26.2 billion. Billion dollars. Where do you get this money? So, Microsoft has made its most ambitious move in years to reassert itself in the technology market that it once dominated. So the software giant said Monday that it was acquiring LinkedIn in a $26.2 billion cash deal. It's funny because remember when I talked about Monsanto? I think it was 62 billion. Don't quote me, I can't remember. But that was also cash. What does $62 billion cash look like? I mean, is it in 20s and 10s? Will it fill up your vehicle? Will that much money fill up a U-Haul truck? I mean, cash? And who does that cash go to directly? Is it just one person at LinkedIn? Or is it divided amongst 10 CEOs or 10 owners? Is it just 10 people get a percentage or what? I mean, the amount of money that I've talked about on this show is just absolutely crazy. So keep an eye out for that because see, Microsoft, they have big plans. They're not leaking everything that they're doing, but they have plans just to to reassert themselves. They're doing big things. So listen to this story. Check this out. This made me mad when I read it, and I'm gonna rant about this like crazy because you know how I like to get on one. Now listen at this. The FDA took months to recall tainted food. Now listen, federal health officials failed to force a recall of peanut butter and almond products for 3 months after advanced DNA testing confirmed salmonella contamination. And the government just reported that. So, and you know what? Listen, and it doesn't even say which peanut butter. You see that? See, you guys, when you read these things, you have to open your mind. And you don't have to be negative and always think of the worst case scenario, but open your mind and explore every single thought, every single option. I'm going to tell you guys till I'm blue in the face. You have a brain for a reason. God gave you a brain. And if you don't believe in God, you believe in somebody. If you believe that dirt made you or bumblebees made you, well then bumblebees and dirt gave you a brain. Use it, people. Read between these lines. Everything you need to know is right in front of you. You're not reading and you're not paying attention. That's what's happening here. Now, why would you wait months and weeks when people's lives are on the line? You just didn't say anything. And then here in this article, you're telling us that, okay, at least 14 people in 11 states were sickened by the outbreak, but we don't know if it was Jif, if it was Skippy. I mean, This is just outrageous. So, you know what I have to say about this is, well, actually, wait a minute, because it says here that food safety has long been a weakness for the FDA. And this agency is thinly stretched to oversees about 80% of the nation's food supply. Well, you know, I think if you guys know anything about the Georgia Guidestones, you know, they want to keep population below, I don't know, 500 million or some nonsense like that. How would you do that? Have you ever thought about that? Remember in Independence Day, the very first one, where Jeff Goldblum and his dad were talking, and they were trying to figure out how to get rid of the mothership. And what did Jeff Goldblum say? You give it a virus. Give it a virus. Well, if you want to get rid of a bunch of people or keep the population down, what's the best thing to do? Give them a virus and make them sick. Anyway, you can go look up that article because I'm telling you the truth. All right, let's see what's next. Rancheria chooses Elk Grove for a casino. So we thought that Red Hawk was cool because it's right up the way there on 50, but now we may very well have a casino in Elk Grove, which I guess is actually kind of cool. But, you know, I think most of the times when people go to a casino, they don't really want to go in their backyard. I think the whole point of going to a casino is to actually get out of your area and go somewhere else, you know. But then again, if you're lazy and you just want to, you know, you just want to run off somewhere for 10 minutes and then come back home, then so be it. But anyway, the Wilton Rancheria announced on a Thursday that it has chosen the site of a half-built mall in Elk Grove as the preferred location for its planned resort and casino. Now, the Federal Bureau of Indian Affairs will be asked to designate the 35.9 acre parcel along Highway 99 as its preferred alternative in the environmental impact statement prepared in response to the tribe's application to have the land taken into trust for the project. Now, this is an important milestone for the members of Wilton Rancheria because it's going to create over 2,000 direct jobs. So when you start hearing, okay, well, it's going to create 2,000 jobs, then all of a sudden you're just maybe a little bit more on board because people need the work. And there's a lot of people out there that really want to work. Everybody is not just a bum sitting home, you know, sitting home doing nothing. But, excuse me, but it's going to cost more than $30 million in in construction, but it doesn't say here when it's going to be up and running or finished. I'll keep an eye on that and I will keep you posted. But that's interesting, you know, to see you know what's going to happen there. So we may have a casino coming to Elk Grove, people. And speaking of, something else is going on here is Symantec is to buy a web security firm. So listen to this. Here's more money. Software security company Symantec Corporation is acquiring internet security firm Blue Coat Incorporated for $4.65 billion, bolstering its mobile and cloud security portfolio. Man, and listen at this. Investors backing the deal included private equity from Silver Lake, which said it would double the $500 million investment in convertible notes in Symantec. Man, you know what? I tell you what, I'd like to meet some of these people that have all this money, okay? Because $46 billion, let me tell you something. If somebody has $46 billion, I am not kidding. They are probably lighting their cigars with $50 bills, and it's just no sweat off their nose. Okay, well, here is something else. Uber. 2 executives have been convicted in France. So a part of the continuing global backlash over the popular ride-sharing service Uber, 2 of its senior European executives were convicted and fined nearly $500,000 in France for running an illegal transportation business. Man, you know what? This is just crazy. Absolutely crazy. And they're going to have to pay a fine of $906,000. And another penalty of $28,500. So these 2 people in particular were convicted of deceptive practices and illegally operating a transportation service. So you got Uber, man, and then you have that one fool that shot up a bunch of people and said that the devil made him do it. And he tried to go to court and plead that case. The devil made me do it. There was a case like that years and years ago. And I think the person actually, got away. So anyway, you know how I like to show you beautiful pictures. This is one that just really, really touched my heart. It is Felicia Finkelstein, 25. She interacts with her pony named Patches in the backyard where she lives. She has a natural horsemanship training apprentice with David Lichman. And look at that. Isn't that beautiful? I mean, just imagine waking up to that every morning. Absolutely, absolutely beautiful. And I'm going to end the show with something funny. Because, as you know, we don't talk about politics on this show. But I just have to say, Bernie Sanders, the look on his face after he endorsed Hillary and all this DNC stuff, and then Russia is trying to hack us and all this crazy mess going on. The look on his face is priceless. And today, Donald Trump said he was looking like that because he sold his soul to the devil. And I am not going to comment, but I'm going to show you this picture that was taken a couple of weeks ago. And I'm just going to leave you with this. As you can see, that is Bernie Sanders with President Obama, just laughing about something. Don't know what. But, sometimes when people say the joke's on you, it is really on you. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. I am so very grateful for everything, and I am grateful for you too. Have a fabulous rest of your weekend. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Go to my website, PelentaArtForrest.com. Buy my book. And we are going to get out of here with my favorite tune, One Love. Thank you for spending your precious time with me. I really appreciate it. I will see you next time and find out what's in Pelenta's forest. God bless you all. And good night. Thank you.